I want to start by telling you, if you haven't read the book yet, which I assume you haven't since it's just coming out today, you have such a treat in store. I can't tell you how much I love this book because it's unlike any other book I've ever read in its sort of talking about where food is today and what its place in our world is, and how the really interesting people who are cooking today are bringing everything to it. Art and their politics and their personal stories. And it's really, I mean, the stories are wonderful. And so are the recipes. But
thank you so much. For me to hear you say that is just takes it to such an emotional level, because we worked on this project, bought the property in 2017, started dreaming about what we could turn this property into. We had all this content that we just was coming out the door of Osteria Francescana, and we didn't choose the most beautiful corner of the world. We chose the one that was close to us, and we made it a personal project. And in some way or another, we're able to turn around this dilapidated farmhouse and bring all the things we love, and I think create more love and more future for Osteria Francescana, for our group, for our team. And it's been a very interesting learning process. Wouldn't you say, Max?
I'll let you speak.
It's a good thing we have different opinions on everything.
I act,
There's a lot of that in the book, too.
My job is to act, to cook, to do things you are the one who conceptualize everything. So.
Well, interestingly, the first thing I have on this piece of paper is a quote from the book which says, "Disagreeing and provoking each other is our way of working through ideas."
This was not organized backstage. This is actually totally a surprise to me.
No, of course. I never, when people say, you have to go on stage, you want to know the question. No, I don't want to know the question. Otherwise, what I'm preparing, the question in my mind, no. My mind, I live the moment, like when I feel, as we were talking before about the astronauts and the taste in the space, and this is the way I care about, like go crazy with your mental palate and transform things into real thing, and then it's about, all the rest. But, when they ask me what do you do every day in Osteria Francescana, compress edible bite, in my passion into edible bites, sitting on centuries of history, because my cooking, even if it's abstract, is deeply Italian, but filtered by a contemporary mind, and this is the way you cook, Be contemporary means, you live in the time that you're really living, but you build your future. And in your future, in my future, there's always future. Because my mind is always there, not here. Do you understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
He avoided the question. Did you notice
What
that?
was the question? I don't know. I don't listen, I talk.
But the other side of the provoking, etc., is the story of the sofa, which I wish you would tell because it's such an amazing story.
It is such an amazing story. We and it's in the book, so you can read about it. We make a long story short, we were about to open in May 2019, and we this was spring, I think it was probably March, and we still hadn't acquired a lot of the furniture that we needed to acquire to complete the property. And in particular, the entranceway where we have our small reception. And so we went to this antique fair, which is in Parma twice a year, in the fall and the spring. It's called Mercante in Fiera, and it was the last day of the fair. It was a Sunday afternoon, and Massimo and I were like, we need to find, I had a whole list. I had, I need, these 3 chairs, I need this kind of sofa, I need this. And I said, look for something for the entranceway. And we had already decided it was going to be here, and we had this amazing neon that Massimo had surprised me with on the 4th of July by Tracy Emin. And everything was laid out. We decided to divide up. He was going to go on one side of the exhibition hall, and I was going on the other side of the exhibition hall so that we could, be as hasty as possible, quick as possible. And I found what I thought was the perfect sofa. It was this curvy, dark blue, sort of 1960s look, and it just had this sinuous line to it. And the room is very square, and the windows are rectangles, and I thought, this will just warm it up and give this kind of like elegance to it. I called him on the phone, and I said, I found the perfect sofa. He said, that's impossible, because I found the perfect sofa. Already there, I was like, oh God, what did he buy?
I already bought it, so I couldn't
knew
go
he already
back.
bought it, exactly. So I said to the vendor, I said, hold on a minute, I'm just gonna go see what my husband is, what trouble he's up to. Ran across the hall, it was the exact same sofa. Just in a different color. It was cream colored.
Yes.
And cream and blue seem to be colors that, I don't know.
Very elegant.
The first sign of Osteria Francescana was in blue and cream. Our wedding invitation was in blue and cream, and our wedding invitation had ML on it, this logo that then has been following us for Casa Maria Luigia. And that sofa were those colors, and we thought, what are we gonna do with two of them? We couldn't decide which one we wanted, so obviously we had to buy both. And the amazing thing is, when we brought them into that space,
but la virgola, no? Like la virgola.
Exactly. It's called the Kama sofa. It has a larger, thicker area that's kind of round like a comma, and then it moves this way, and it has a beautiful curve to it. And each of them completed the other, and they became this yin and yang that is a wonderful way to invite your guest when they come into the reception to sit down. There's always a little coffee table there with water or coffee, whatever they want. And from the moment you come to Casa Maria Luigia, you're looking at another couple maybe checking in, or your partner who you've come with, and you're sitting in a circle. And so that is kind of the essence and the heart and soul of what we're doing, is bringing people together in one house, a house that we love, we've learned to love, and brought all the things that we love into, and it's very personal.
But it just struck me as such a perfect metaphor for you're two extremely different people. You sort of have managed to make your lives by provoking and pushing each other all the time, but when push comes to shove, you complete the circle every time. And that's kind of what this book is about your different passions, your passion for art and food and cars, and where Lara is exactly in the same place and in a different place.
And Lara trying to make sense of it all.
And
she's trying to
how
say
do these things
no
fit together?
Sometimes no.
That's not true.
No,
I
please.
don't think anyone
no,
It's impossible to say no to him.
To keep me a little bit grounded, because every morning I wake up, or I write something during the night, and say, oh, this is a great idea, look at this, and what I do, and this and that. So, calm down, we have to do this, we have to do that, one step at a time. So it's very, very, very important.
I'm the slow, he's definitely the fast, and we compensate for each other, that's very true.
But I don't believe anyone ever really manages to say no to you.
I'm going on the other direction.
I know that my note, I have to be very careful.
This is the last one. I was dealing with the Ferrari company. Now we have a restaurant in Modena that is called Il Cavallino, and it's in partnership with Ferrari, so we are like a partner. And so we have access to all the cars and the things, so they move, they bring to the museum, they move, they gave us to us. And
are you going to tell the story?
2 weeks ago, she was like, but I love this car, but it's brand new, the red one that is here in front.
I went away for 2 days to Paris to the refectorio.
It was in a museum, standing there. It's more than 1 year ago. I never seen that.
I know that car had never been on the
It's a
property
16
before.
M convertible that Ferrari just bought. They bought it 2 days before. She was away, she didn't know.
He thought I wasn't going to notice. And I always notice, because one more car, one more motorcycle, there's like a little bit less room for something else. And you have to walk around it. And yes, very funny.
How many cars do you have?
But right now in the whole thing was 16, 17.
16, 17,
Yeah.
you're nothing. We all have 16 or
18.
17 cars.
18.
But it
Plus
all started.
Plus one. 19 in total. 21 probably, but I don't know.
This is a bad habit because it began with a much smaller object, which is vinyl records. That's like where the collecting all began, even before we started collecting the art. And in our first apartment, he had all these vinyl records. A lot of them he had inherited from his older brothers, and they filled up basically the entire hallway. And then we moved to another apartment. We had a little bit more room, and so he could get more vinyl records. And there's a story in the book about how we kind of put a bid, an auction for this house, because one room in the house already had perfect amount of bookshelves for this other record collection of 7,000 or 8,000, first print jazz records, very rare, that he had bought without telling me. So when he said, "I love this room, it's perfect," I thought, what is perfect about this room? How could it be perfect? It was falling apart.
The size of the shelf.
The size of the shelves was perfect for the record collection I knew nothing about.
Yeah. Actually, Massimo, talk a little bit, because you in the book you speak so beautifully about the importance of jazz to you and what it means to you.
It's jazz is. I grew up like that, with my brother on the side, like the closest one, because the two bigger one, they were crazy about the first one about the Beatles and the other the Rolling Stones, and they had garage band in the house. My mama was like crazy about the opera. We are from Modena, no? Pavarotti, Mirella Freni, 5 theaters. So, but the brother close to me, I don't know why, he started collecting country and blues records, importing directly from United States, with the most crazy band, like Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Amazing Rhythm and Hazes, or like whatever, or Johnny Cash, or Lightning Hopkins, or Muddy Waters, Screamy J. Hawkins, and stay close to my brother, to Paolo. I was growing up, 12, 13, 14, listen just to this music. And, from blues to jazz, the step is very short. You talk about Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday, what is Billie Holiday? Blues, jazz? You don't know. Probably it's both. She's so amazing that it's both. And was very, very important for me to grow up like this. And once you start listening to jazz, you can't go back, It's so intense, and, it takes you to another level of creativity, It's the same thing, cooking or playing jazz, If you are a great chef, you can improvise, as you are a great musician. But you cannot improvise to be a great chef or be a great musician. And just if you play and you're incredibly technique on your hands, then at that point you can play like monk, even when you cook. You can cook like monk. And this is,
do you think you cook like monk?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very similar. Very always searching for something to provoke, to break, to find, without forgetting who you are. The big roots are there, like where you come from. Think about we were talking before about the new dish, that there was a very nice article about on LA Times, the tortellini that wants to be dumpling. Imagine the locals that I'm touching the tortellini. Imagine in Modena where when you don't, even if you don't believe in God, you can believe in tortellini. So
it's a religion.
Touching the tortellini and transforming into dumpling, but with the shape, long shape like this, like the skyline of Seoul, with the Korean touch, Asian touch. It's like, whoa, what's going on? They want to burn me like in the main piazza as a witch, you know. I'm ready, I'm here, you know, in New York.
But music is also, this is just my point of view. I've seen Massimo over the years come home very late at night, difficult night in the restaurant, wonderful night in the restaurant. You come home and there's this adrenaline, and music has always been a refuge for him, a way of soothing, a way of settling whatever happened during the day, and somehow listening to a piece of music on a record player. So it has a limited amount of time, you know, side A or side B, and if you have enough energy to turn it over and listen to side B. But there's something very intimate about that, and I think for Massimo it's been a way of sealing and closing the day. And so this record room was something really important. We have just this one room where there's all these records available, and this beautiful Proust chair designed by Alessandro Mendini. And it's not a room for 10 people. It's a room for one person to sit down and put on a record. Or one night, I'll never forget, there was this beautiful couple. At night, the house kind of empties out because the guests are either coming to our restaurant, Francescana at Maria Luigia, or they're going out to another restaurant. And so the hotel, since it's very small, gets very quiet at night, and oftentimes I'll slip in there and put on a record myself. But one night there was a couple, and they had been to Francescana the night before, and they were staying another night, and they didn't want to go out. It was their anniversary that night, and they just kept putting on records and dancing by themselves in that music room.
Yeah.
And I was witnessing it and listening to it, and it was very special because when you create a space like that, it's a container for the things that you love, but then if you can share it and pass it on to someone else, that has even more meaning.
Yeah, but I think the real revolution that we did on hospitality, creating Casa Maria Luigia, is like that we create home away from home, that kind of feeling. You know, for me, traveling, before pandemic, I was traveling 150, 170 days a year, and the things that I was missing home. And sometimes, and most of the time, you go in these amazing hotels, but you know, they're all the same. They all serve a club sandwich or the burger or whatever, you know, very comfort food, but you don't understand that you're in Tokyo or Buenos Aires or New York. And so what we want to create the experience that, you know, we want them to come and bite the terroir where you are. So that's why in the kitchen there's always Parmigiano Reggiano and Lambrusco at their best, you know. So when you're there, you touch the Parmigiano as a snack in 5 in the afternoon. You drink a glass of Lambrusco, very mild, very easy, and you understand you're in Modena. Or, you know, the first thing we want is coffee in the room, you know, in the morning. I don't want to talk with people before having my espresso. So let's put some espresso machine in the room so everyone can have their own espresso and enjoy after the breakfast.
But to me, and I've never stayed there. I mean, I've been there a few times, but I've never stayed there. But to me, what you're doing there isn't so much as creating the perfect expression of moda. You are creating everybody's dream home, that if you went home to your perfect mother, this is the experience
we leave
you would have.
Everyone free to do whatever they want. You know, we have a spirit room, you know, like, is there any Australian here? Okay. The spirit room. The spirit room is like very dangerous because after dinner at Francescana Maria Luigia, Cavallino, you know, we since when we reopened after the first lockdown, we split all the different experiences to give the possibility to all our guests to go and have traditional food at Cavallino, the experience of a gastro bistro at Franceschetta, the iconic dishes in Maria Luigia, contemporary cuisine at Francescana, but also a contemporary barbecue at Gatto Verde. And you know, after they all come back to Casa Maria Luigia and to decompress, maybe a little nocino, some whiskey, some grappa, and he's free, he's open. So imagine you know, when some wild Australians, you know, after aperitivo, dinner, and, you know, we grappa, you know, at the end of the meal, you know, they go crazy. And you know, once we found them, a group of friends, sleeping on the floor, you know, in a spirit room, like, I said, probably
we close the spirit room at 2 a.m.
at 1 o'clock, the spirit room is closed.
Exactly.
No more free experience in the...
You know, I want to tell you that the first time that I ate there, I came home and I said to people, you know, it's the most beautiful place. I mean, everything, it's so crazily perfect and wonderful to be there. But what I ended up really talking to them about were the tables and the idea of that long table.
That's the refectorio, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you would talk about that a little, because it seems so important to me and so much the spirit of that place.
You're the first person who's talking about this, and you're asking about this. But to me, you know, this is the first revolution that we did. We brought high-end cuisine into a theater of flavors. So we broke the walls, we opened the kitchen, and we give the opportunity to all our guests to chat with us, to ask questions, to be there, to film, and we cook in front of you in a very unusual setting. The setting is, we have learned in our refectorio that sharing a table is a very spiritual action. You leave the phone on the side and you talk to each other. Wow, this is avant-garde. The most avant-garde thing is like this. I'm talking to someone that I don't know. Ooh, it's so scary. My God. But I said, drink a couple of glass of wine, and you know, you talk with all the languages of the world. You know.
Give some context. So
give some context.
A little bit of context, so you understand. On this property, one of the most beautiful buildings is a carriage house, and it was built in 1900. And we know it has the facade that almost looks like a facade of a church. But on this facade, there are two low-relief sculptures of wheels. Carriage wheels, and there's an eagle flying through each one of them, and these theatrical muses below it. So we know that that's where the former owner Luigi Magelli kept his carriage. Probably by 1915, he had a Fiat Balilla in there, so at a garage. And when we saw this garage, it was completely run down and inside broken. We couldn't even see the original ceiling, but that was the space that Massimo focused on first, and he thought, this is an incredible opportunity to create a restaurant that doesn't feel like a restaurant. It will never be big enough to be a restaurant. We tore down all the walls and built a kitchen that's an open kitchen. And so in that moment that we saw the open kitchen, we saw the possibility, we decided to put 4 communal tables and this beautiful open pass, and decided to serve our most iconic dishes of Osteria Francescana in this space. So it's for 24 people, 6 guests at each table, and they are seeing the chefs working and plating the dishes, but they're also getting a little bit of entertainment because we narrate each recipe with the stories. A lot of them are some of the stories in the books, but oftentimes there's stories that just come out, and everyone tells them a little bit differently. I'll tell a story about, oops, I dropped the lemon tart in a certain way, and Massimo will talk about the 5 ages of Parmigiano Reggiano and different temperatures and textures with his own language, Jessica, our head chef. So we also like to pass on the storytelling, different voices, so that you get this real whole experience, not only you and the guest at the table, but you feel like you're invited behind the scenes to see where these ideas came from, how they came out of his mind, his memories, his relation to music and art, and that's Francescana at Luigia.
You know, we jump. I keep the door open for the unexpected. We create this. We said, okay, let's try.
It was an experiment.
Third night, table of 8, 8 Americans. First 2, they walk in, 2 very liberal from Boston. They sit in one side. Second one, 2 very Republican from Texas. And they sit close to them, like this. Then 4 more rooms. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? We look outside, and in a swimming pool, there were 4 people having fun, jumping in the water, like doing crazy things. 4 friends from Boulder, Colorado. You know, imagine Boulder, Colorado. Okay, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So
We called them in for dinner.
we call them, hey guys, it's time to eat. Oh yeah, chef, we're coming. And they arrive directly from the pool. And they sit close to the 2 Republicans from Texas. I said to myself, this is gonna be the last evening, the last service, because this is gonna be a disaster. Okay. At the end of I said, and I kept a lot of emphasis, drink another glass of water, come on guys, have fun, you know. At the end of the evening, they made a reservation 1 year after. The same day, the 8 people, they were like, these are the miracles, you know, that happen around the table, you know. They had so much fun.
So much.
They had so much fun, but as everyone, you know.
But that's what food
except
does.
for the Russians. But I don't want to go into, you know, into details. You're not recording, right?
I think it's important to bring that fun back to the dining table too. And those are the fondest memories we have as kids and growing up, and when things get boisterous and there's an argument and, you know, someone does something funny and whatever. The table is for living. It is not for this sterile exercise in tasting something and being a critic. It is for living and breathing and laughing and having an opinion and talking to people. I mean, that is what we do, and that's the beauty of humanity. And being around the table, so many things come out and to get discussed, and so we want to foster that.
Yeah, well, and the other night I was at a very fine restaurant, and sitting across from me were 2 people who literally spent the entire night on looking at their phones and not at each other. And you've created the opposite of that.
That's the point.
And that just seems so important to me that you've done
That's
that.
the point.
Thank you.
Everyone is concentrating on photograph the food, on Instagram posting and things. Like, are you losing that kind of magic?
Losing touch. But every night it always, 2 minutes before we come out and we start introducing the evening, I always have a little bit of butterflies in my stomach. You never know what the room is going to feel like, and it's a small room, and you never know what the energy is going to be. And sometimes it's half Italians and half English speaking, and other times it's full of Americans, and there's times when you feel a funny energy or it's raining outside. So it's a very interesting experiment, also in how we present and talk about our food, and putting ourselves in this vulnerable position, I think helps us also stay very connected to what we're doing as hoteliers and in hospitality and as restaurateurs. That we never forget that people are coming across the continent, traveling thousands of miles to come and eat our food and see us and talk to us. And right now I'm in New York, so I'm not at Casa Maria Luigia. Massimo's not there either, and we miss it, and we're sorry for not being there.
Jessica is here with us.
But it keeps it personal, and it keeps it very, very real. We never lose touch with why we do what we do.
So I think we need to talk a little bit about the art, because the art is such an important part of both the Casa and of the book. And it's so important to both of you. And I mean, you have so much unusual art there. I mean,
Why unusual?
Did you like the part about Frankie and Rose?
I did, and
No, that's the story you have to read.
I have loved Dwayne
To me,
Hansen.
it's my favorite. My favorite story.
So we have these 2 sculptures by an American artist named Dwayne Hansen. And Massimo knew that I loved Dwayne Hansen. My dad took me to the Whitney.
Do you all know what his art looks like? It's very realistic.
American hyperrealism from the 70s.
And these are bronze sculptures that the artist has then covered in wax and painted. And the amazing thing about Dwayne Hansen, when I saw this exhibition at the Whitney, it was a retrospective in the 1980s, and it was the first art exhibition of contemporary art that my parents took me to. And you know, he's famous for a security guard from 1979 named Frankie, who is standing against the wall like a security guard in any museum. His sculptures were all about the people we don't see. The painter, the woman selling used clothing on the sidewalk, a tourist, Frankie the security guard, someone waiting outside the bathroom to clean the bathroom. So this idea of people who are engaged in their lives, and often we walk by and we don't notice them. So he makes you notice them because they're sculptures and they're in this museum space. And Massimo found a Frankie from 1979. And before Casa Maria Luigia, Frankie was our security guard in Osteria Francescana.
Everyone, especially at the end of the meal, they were saying hi to Frankie. They had a dialogue with Frankie, especially after a glass of sassicaia, you know, like, hi Frankie, how are you? Yeah.
I've seen people ask Frankie, you know, directions to the bathroom. Frankie is very realistic, down to his Omega watch.
He's very polite. Frankie is very polite. He's never looking into your eyes, but he's looking down there, and he's like, please.
But to me, you know,
but the story of Frankie that he's trying to date Rose, you know, because Rose is on the other side of the corner,
and she's not interested.
She's not interested in Frankie. So, but Frankie is a little bit upset now.
But you know, part of it seems to me that you know, the Dwayne Hansen relates very much to you're doing the repertorios and all your work with being a restaurateur who cares about people who are hungry. And then you've got the Ai Weiwei, which is, you know, it's so close to what you're doing with your food.
Look, Ai Weiwei in Lego, you know? Picasso was always saying, you know, I was drawing as Raffaello since I was 13, and it took their whole life to paint like a kid. Ai Weiwei is playing like a kid in that triptych. And he's exactly expressing what I do in the kitchen every day. He's breaking a 2,000 years old vase, and he's saying, I'm not defeating my past. I'm breaking my past to build my future. And this is what we do. We look at the past in a very critical way, and we get the best from the past into the future to renew traditions. And think about the crunchy part of the lasagna. You know, like this, that's the best part. And when we were talking behind the scene about feeding people with emotions, that's the emotional part. You know, if I serve you a big slice of the lasagna, I treat you like an adult. But if I serve you just the crunchy part, and I put it in the plate, and you act like a kid, you break the crunchy part, you take the ragu and the bechamel, and you have that kind of feeling, I bring you back when you were like kid, even you're not from New Jersey, and you know, but and eat like the crunchy part of the lasagna. No, I'm saying New Jersey because the Italian community, I know they're eating a lot of lasagna.
As do the rest of us.
As does the rest of America. Yeah,
I was drinking Lambrusco back there.
So when this piece by the Chinese artist Ai Weiwei is that there's 3 triptychs. They're these panels, and they're made with very small Lego pieces. And there are 4 different colors. There's a white, there's a light gray, there's a medium gray, and there's like a almost black. And when this artwork came into the property and we started taking these out of the crates, I was just blown away because we had been looking for this piece for so long. And Massimo surprised me once again, and the 3 crates arrived, and I started opening it, and I was having a heart attack, like, oh my God, this piece is actually here in this property. And then as I started looking at them, I realized there were some Legos that were gone. And I started getting panicked, like, where are the Lego pieces? And which color belongs in there? And going through the boxes, and we found them and put them in. But she realized that, you know, it's, you can buy more Legos.
It's a Lego.
And you can play with it. And that art, maybe in a way, the way we've treated it at Casa Maria Luigia, is to be playful. We haven't created a museum. We haven't created a place that is so, you know, precious that you can't touch it or live with it. In the cocktail room, there's this great Barbara Kruger that says, stay or go, which is a very good question to have in a cocktail room, because there's a moment in any cocktail room where you should be like, should I leave? Should I stay? You know, we love the dialogue that the works have with each other, that they have with the guests when they come in. To be provocative, to be having the artwork ask questions. There's one room that has this beautiful painted ceiling, and it's floral, and it's probably from the 1920s. And then there are these photographs from a skateboarder named Ed Templeton, who is traveling around the world as a famous skateboarder, and he took photographs of very young people who were smoking. It's called Teenage Smokers. It was a series that he did. And these teenage smokers are beautiful photographs, but they really are about, they were trying to be adults. So as an adult, we have to think about what we do and to be a little bit more responsible. And you would think that this contrast doesn't work, but it brings energy to the room and dynamism, and it makes the contemporary art speak. And I think that's the most important thing, that we've given space for the art to speak and talk and have a dialogue with who's ever coming through.
I think we have to take questions soon, but before we do, I think we really need to talk about breakfast a little bit, because
breakfast.
I mean, because so much, they serve breakfast every day.
This is part of our breakfast.
And it's not like any breakfast you've ever seen, and after you've read this book, you'll never think of breakfast the same way.
No.
Gnocco frito.
No, because breakfast came out, it was the first challenge, or the first thing I said to
That's Jessica, our head chef there.
To Jessica. Where is Jessica? Jessica. Good. She survived.
Jessica Rosa in the audience. This is the spread, the breakfast spread.
You know, I said, we have to do, you know, home, this experience, home away from home. So what was the best moment in my life, you know, when I was a kid? And when I was, my grandmother, she was, record this. My grandmother, she wasn't a great cook. Okay, I said it. Okay, it's not like the other 50 million of grandmothers in Italy. You know, my grandmother, she wasn't a great cook. Because she didn't like to cook, because she had to cook. But my mom, she was an amazing cook, because she loved to cook. This is the difference. Love. But Christmas Day, she was like waking up in the morning very early and prepare everything with wood burn oven and this amazing table in the kitchen with fried dough and erbazzone and cotechino, this very old sausage under the ashes, crunchy and soft, with sweet and savory, and the frittatina in a very heavy pan, cooking the wood burn oven, and then the old balsamic vinegar just for that day on top of the frittatina, and the onion and the eggs. And it was like, okay, Ja is Jessica. Ja, you have to really replicate or, filter with your experience and contemporary technique, but using wood burn oven, and share with all the guests in Maria Luigia, that breakfast. That is going to be unique because it's just mine breakfast. The breakfast that me, my sister, my brothers, we were experiences, and was the most amazing moment. And breakfast was going on and on and on till my mom would say, lunch is ready, again, and we were going on and on and on till dinner is ready, you know. And
That
that's
happens
Christmas
Casa Maria
in
Luigia.
my
That
home.
definitely happens.
That's Casa Maria Luigia. That's Casa Maria Luigia. The kitchen is always open. The snacks are always there. There's always a place for unexpected guests, as in my home, you know, as in Casa Maria Luigia, my mom. And breakfast is like, wow. That's the thing. There are two buffet, let's call buffet. One is with this breakfast, like really modernist breakfast, and on the other side there is like this kind of healthy food with yogurt.
Nobody wants the healthy food.
Nobody. He's always left. He's always left. There's like someone like is coming and you know it's like I'm getting some blueberry, a little bit of yogurt, and then they leave it, and they eat like frittatina and
gnocco
fritto and erbazzone. Erbazzone is they're always out of erbazzone. So when I'm coming around 9:30, I'm on my erbazzone with gnocco fritto and cappuccino. It's like, and there's always another cappuccino, always another coffee.
Massimo, all the years that we've been married, I never saw him eat breakfast until
Never.
Casa Maria Luigia.
Never.
And now,
Because when I eat breakfast there, my mind, wow.
Thank you.
It's like, it's my heart, my feeling. It's like I'm going back into my youthness when I was like a kid and I was like waking up and I was running under the Christmas tree to get my present and, get an erbazzone or gnocco fritto or the cotechino. But imagine the cotechino. Tomorrow at the Today Show, I'm gonna make like the crunchy almond cake with smoked cotechino under the ashes
it was so
and
delicious.
zabaione and balsamic vinegar on top.
I think
We
he's
had
going
that
to break
for
the
dessert last
television.
night. It was-
We'll see what they say.
Okay, here's the first question from the audience. What is a dish that perfectly demonstrates your collaboration and why? The two of you collaborate.
It's your turn.
What is a dish that's our perfect collaboration?
In Osteria Francescana, we have set, very important things. Without saying, I don't want to say rules, but we all have our rules. So that's extremely important. It's the secret to keep working together, sharing things and ideas, give to each one of our team the possibility to express themselves. This is how you keep the team together. So the collaboration probably is like, I cook and I try to express things that Lara conceptualized.
Yeah, it's a little more abstract than
Yeah.
a collaboration on a dish.
Yeah.
What could it be? Maybe.
No, I have one. I have one. Caesar salad. The Caesar salad. Yeah.
Caesar salad
Yes.
in bloom.
No, Caesar salad in bloom is one thing, but the Caesar salad, after, we went out with Ken, your father, your mom, they took us out, where we were yesterday, at the Seagrass building.
At the Four Seasons.
At the Four Seasons.
So my dad
And,
wanted to take Massimo and it was like the deal was done. We were actually together, and he wanted to. So he took Massimo and me and my mother to the Four Seasons, and we had lunch in the grill, and it was he decided that everyone had to have the Caesar salad, and Massimo was like, oh, Caesar salad, I don't know.
Yeah, because the Caesar salad, the Four Seasons is very important. They come, they make, they in front of you.
They do the dressing, they do the whole tableside service, and Massimo, I think, was more impressed with the tableside service than the actual Caesar salad itself.
You couldn't feel the salad.
But for years, he talked about this Caesar salad and wanting to do a Caesar salad in Osteria Francescana, but it really took a long time. It wasn't until 2007?
No.
2006?
2002, 2003,
Okay.
when I said the first Caesar salad when I researched. So when we did this, we were discussing about the Caesar salad and the importance of the salad, the balance between the sauce and the things. Too much garlic is killing your palate. The crunchiness, they were too big.
Croutons.
Those kind of stuff. And I said, okay, I'm gonna make the Caesar salad, but I wanna bring the idea of using just the 4 elements that are classic from the Caesar salad. That is like eggs, Parmigiano, the mustard and anchovies. So I'm using those kind of elements, and I rebuild a salad that tastes like a salad. Okay, so what I did? No offense. It's just that I have a salad.
Caesar is offended.
I have a salad. I want to eat salad. So I did all this research on mustard leaves, the Italian one, the French one, the Chinese one. And I put together all these mustard leaves. When you chew and you have the mustard taste. Then what I did, I got the yolk, and I put the yolk under salt and sugar. I cubed the egg, and I make a bottarga with the yolk, dry, very dry. And that I was grating on top with the microplane on top of the master salads, master leaves. And then anchovies water from the classic garum, the Roman approach. So with the garum, I was dropping few drops of the anchovies water on top of the leaves. Then the Parmigiano became a crunchy Parmigiano that was like filled inside. So when you were eating, you were your own crouton made with Parmigiano Reggiano. These are the 4 elements. Then complication. So
that was the first version.
No, I was extracting the mustard leaves into transforming into chlorophyll. Put gelatin and put like this gelatin of mustard in there for texture. And then I brought the salad in Emilia. So I put some, Emilia is about pork, and we were making this crunchiness inside the salad, and in Emilia, balsamic vinegar. So I mix with anchovies water, a few drops of balsamic vinegar to remind that we are in Emilia. So that was the perfect example of, then we had evolution.
Our collaboration.
Of our collaboration. Who asked this question?
Okay.
Was okay? The answer or no?
I want to try the salad.
I come to Maria Luigia. Summertime.
Hi, we visited you at Casa Maria Luigia in November. I am obsessed with the chocolate chip cookies. What makes them so special and different? Is it the balsamic vinegar?
You ask her, Jess, what makes so special? I know it.
I'll tell you for $20.
No, I know what it is. It's maple syrup from Canada that is mixing with
Why
the
from Canada? What's wrong with American maple syrup?
Now,
Because
the Canadians, they don't recognize maple syrup in America.
We have the chocolate chip recipe in the book, and Jessica Roosevelt, our head chef, is from Montreal, Canada, and so we allow her to use the Canadian, maple syrup.
Special cans delivered directly from Canada.
This one says it's from David Chang.
From David.
It's what it says. Are you here, David?
Not the famous one.
No. Oh, okay.
We'll take any David Chang.
I love it.
Wait, he came all the way from California to see you. In your Chef's Table episode, New York City seems to have a significant impact on your life and how you approach it. Do you feel anything?
No, I didn't. I was listening. I was thinking about Dave Chang.
Oh, okay.
No, because she wrote an amazing piece about Dave, but it's okay. What was the question?
In your Chef's Table episode, New York City seemed to have a significant impact on your life and how you approach it. Do you feel anything special visiting, being back in New York?
No, it was like I told you yesterday night when we were in the middle of this, in the room where we were like at the Four Seasons. I was like, I had butterfly after 38 years of cooking, being in that room, like cooking for you all there. You know, I was like, wow, this is New York. And even when it's the only place in the world that I keep coming back because I feel New York is home away from home for me. And even if I don't have any purpose or just walking on the street and breathe the energy of the street is rebuilding, recharging my batteries all the time and get new ideas. It's incredible. New York is incredible.
And I also think, this is my point of view, we've had many proposals over the years to open a restaurant in New York City.
Many.
And
Many. But with
Massimo and
lots of
I've
money.
always discussed it and been tempted, but at the end of the day, we don't want New York City to be a place where we come to work. I mean, this is not work. Being on the stage here is a pleasure. But if we had a restaurant here, we'd be, in the city, in the grind, worried about the reservations, about what we're doing, and we wouldn't really be able to live that moment of walking through Central Park, suspended in time. New York is where we met. It's where we had this very serendipitous meeting in a little cafe on the corner of Grand and Mercer, 109 Grand Street. It's not there anymore. I think it was like an oasis that, existed for a moment in time. We met, boom, and then it disappeared. And New York always has that special quality for us. It is an emotional place when we come to New York, and we don't even have to do anything. Just being here is enough. So we've always said no to opening a restaurant in New York.
But we did an amazing project in Harlem as our thanks to the community. And we opened a few months ago. And today we were there at the place called Refettorio. Refettorio is from the word reficere, to restore, the soul of the guest. Is a place that is our project, Food for Soul, is a place that we're going to leave. We already left the community of Harlem, and since 1 year we are serving hundreds and hundreds of meals every day for the people in need. And
bringing people together, I think that
it's a beautiful place, full of art, of music, of the beautiful design. Gucci pay for everything, and I'm very happy about that. We create a beautiful place for the community, and we, thanks to Italy, thanks to Baldur, thanks to all our the people, they believe in this cause that is all about fighting food waste and social isolation through beauty. They're bringing food every day, and beautiful food, and we transform into amazing meals for people in need.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to know more, there's a website, Refettorio Harlem. You can volunteer, you can come up, be part of this project. It's another way of, the meal is an invitation, but there's so much more behind that invitation. It's an invitation for the community to together, volunteers to meet each other, an opportunity to do a small gesture, not only to help someone else, but to think about ingredients in a different way. We get so much beautiful food coming off of supermarkets that is perfectly edible, that was destined for the dump, and it just reminds you that there's always give something a second chance.
And it's much more what you're going to receive than what you're giving. This is a very important thing, even to volunteer. Much respect, and you're going to bring back so much joy.
And for me, one of the things that's so important about the Refettorios is that unlike every other sort of charitable food thing, you create a beautiful experience. I mean, you treat the people who come there as guests, not as beggars.
Of course. That's the most important thing, you know? Like, is the power of hospitality. Buongiorno, come in, we take care of you. Come in, don't worry, come in. And we sit them, we treat them like guests, appetizer, main course, lot of pasta, some desserts, as not like a tray with stuff, here we go. No. We treat like guests, and that's why we need lots of volunteers.
Exactly.
Because the volunteers are the key of the success of every refectorio we have. Imagine that in Paris, after 5 years that we open, we have 4,000 people still in waiting list to volunteer in the refectory in Paris.
It's amazing, and New York, you know, is a tough city, and people aren't, you know, especially someone in need is a little bit distrusting at the beginning. So we just started 2 months ago preparing meals to eat dining in, not just to take out, and slowly but surely, those guests who would pick up a meal or two and bring them home are actually putting that meal on the table and sitting down and relaxing for half an hour and trusting us a little bit more. And the end goal is to have everyone sitting at the table and enjoying a meal together, because there's nothing like breaking bread together, just like Francescana at Luigia. There's nothing like just relaxing and having a laugh and talking about the food or whatever is on your mind, and so that's what we're here for.
Okay. Cooking is a very artful, personal experience, but I'm wondering how new technology will impact this space, especially AI. What will be better, what will be worse? Also, my fiancé, Lauren, and I will be in Italy June 2nd to 16th for our honeymoon.
Do you want a table at Osteria Francescana?
I would love to come to Francescana. Welcome to your life.
Oh my God. You know, one day I was on stage with my friends and things, and I had Annie Lennox, like the singer, here close to me. And, you know, I was talking about creativity, you know, about this. And at one point, she turned to me and she said, "Chef, but how can I get a table in your restaurant?" You know, what am I supposed to say? You know, to Annie Lennox, you know, like on stage. What was the question?
The question was, how is AI going to affect?
I'm discussing.
How
I'm
he would be
discussing.
arguing with AI
This
in the
is my
kitchen?
AI. No, I'm discussing now with Reid Hoffman, and he's really into AI, and he was in Osteria Francescana. He was in Casa Maria Luigia with 40 friends. They flew from California, and all the people from like the board of Microsoft, the board of Google, they brought everything there, and we were discussing about this and about our AI technology. So in March, we're going to be there, and we're going to give a speech in Stanford. We're going to have a fundraising dinner at the Refectorio in San Francisco.
But I think you agreed also to go in the kitchen with an AI. I think
I didn't want to say, but you ruined my final
I'm sorry.
answer. But they want me to cook with AI, and we see. I'm gonna give you another answer next year.
It could be fun.
It could be. It could be.
Okay, this is from Chris. What's your favorite car that you own?
Oh my God! No, you can't say that.
I know my favorite car.
No, I probably is like my brother Andrea was very into cars. That's probably why the whole family was very into cars. And he was 46, and he passed in 1996, exactly as after our wedding, the year after. And he left this car that he bought, brand new. It was a Ferrari Testarossa TR, and it's brand new. And no one in the family wants to touch that car, no one, because it's Andrea's car. So at one point when we were like, we decided to open, we brought the car, and that probably is my favorite car. Not because technically it's my favorite car, but because it's like very emotional, Do you want to know what's Stanley Tucci's favorite car? Is Maserati, my Maserati, still there? Yes.
It's a Maserati Mistral.
It's a Maserati Mistral, 1965. That's
It's my favorite car too.
So this is the last question.
I just want to turn the discussion on another level, because it was going too deep.
No, this is not deep at all. This is a really shallow question.
My favorite ingredient.
What is it most, after either dining at Francescana or stay at Maria Luigia, that you hope guests take away from the experience?
Emotions. If you take away emotions, they're going to stay forever. If you take away just a good meal or a good experience, you're going to forget with the next great experience or the next great meal. But emotion is my last goal. For me, cooking the food that is going to touch those chords to bring you back to memories and things, when you were a kid, or special moments or special visit. Those emotions, they're going to stay with you forever. So this is like the ultimate goal. It's like when you look at art or you listen to music, it's all about emotion. The imperfection of monk playing the piano, or like Taka breaking a lemon tart, and now it's like we serve in a 3 Michelin star a broken lemon tart that reminds of what is south of Italy, the most broken place in the world. But it's all about emotion, because when you touch, the capers from Pantelleria, lightly sold by the wind of the sea, or the almond from Noto, or the bergamots from Calabria, or the lemon from Sorrento, Joseph Beuys, no? And these are the things that I think they are unique, and the guests, they want to try, they want to experience.
Yeah, and it's not just food. I mean, yes, the food is really important, but there's a swing, and it's hanging, this beautiful swing that we have under a tree, and I love to see guests having that experience of, it's a kind of swing that you actually can't really push yourself. You need someone to push you. So there's a beautiful exchange going on there. Or I see someone wander into the vegetable garden and pick a tomato off the tomato vines. Or Massimo had us plant these strawberry grapes. It's kind of like a Concord grape, but it's an Italian version. And they're very, very sweet. And we have them in these archways where there's some roses passing towards the swimming pool. And when I see guests kind of go up and they're ripe by July and reach up and pick a strawberry grape and eat it, that kind of experience, I think, makes you're not at home, you're in our imaginary landscape. And we tried to take everything out of our fantasies and make them real to whatever degree that we could. Even the Parmesan that you find in your room, it has this flavor that is very specific to Modena. So we hope to create memories that people want to repeat and come back and experience again and bring their friends. And I love when we have our repeat guests.
Well, I have to say that I remember the first time that I went there, and we all rode bikes out there, and we were riding back.
Yes, 2018.
Back into Modena. And I turned around and looked back at Maria Luigia, and I thought, I may never come back here again, but it really makes me happy to know that it's here, and I will never forget it.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you. That's a beautiful note to end on. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you.
I want to tell you a story. I want to share a story. You know, because this is like, it's very strange. Because when you live there and you have every day this kind of, you experience, you know, amazing, you meet the most amazing guests. They come from all over the world. They want to share joy and happiness with you. It's like you get lost into things. But I was with a famous soccer player called David Beckham. And, you know, we were doing a shooting, a photograph shooting. And we were sitting in the bench that Lara designed, you know, with all these roses called Edith Piaf. You know, very intense red. In the back of the roses, there was like, it was July, the wheat was gold, beautiful gold field. The sky, light blue. An oak was going around like this, and boom, hunting.
A
you know?
field miles.
We were there at one point. David, he turned on me and he said, Massimo, what? This is paradise for me. I said, paradise? This is the countryside of Modena. But paradise, you know? And he said, no, you're wrong. To me, if I think about paradise, I imagine paradise like this. So this is like the experience, you know? You don't get lost into the everyday life. You see the things as with poetry. And this is like, you can jump in there and imagine that in the countryside of Modena can be paradise. So this is what is Casa Maria Luigia, I think.
Look at that. We're only a half
We
an
have a
hour
reservation. Yeah, Daniel Am is going to be mad of me if I'm late.
You have to go sign books.
It's time to sign books. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for
you.
your time. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you at Casa Maria Luigia.
90-second why was the first thing I said. Do you remember that? Book tour? Okay. Everything but 90-second why. We have to go.